Hi guys, you are with Mans from Quest for a Farm, and today we are going to be smoking these two giant pork ribs. So there's the second one. So how we're going to do that is we are going to start by making a rub for them. We're going to put the rub on them and then put them in our smoker, which is basically a gas braai with the wood chips in it. So let's do the rub first, get them sorted, let them start soaking in the flavors, and then I'll show you the rest. Alright, basically I have two bowls here because I am going to make one hot and one not. So my recipe for my rubs is going to be the same for both bowls. So it's 2 teaspoons and maybe a little bit extra of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of paprika. This is a nice smoked paprika. So instead of 1.5, you can see I'm doing a really tall teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of, what is this, garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, some black pepper, about a teaspoon's worth, and then last but not least, for our hot rub we are going to add a teaspoon of my hot chili mix. This is my homemade chili mix. Give that a stir and then we can start rubbing our ribs. But you see, this is what it looks like. Nice color, and that should be enough for one rib. Just make sure anything that's lumpy gets broken up. And let's get this on our ribs. I am just going to open our ribs. Woo. Okay, this is a lot more drama than I thought it would be. Okay, so you can see this is just straight up normal raw pork, and let's get going with our rub. So I'm going to start with this one. We're going to put about half of it on the top, and rub it in nicely. Flip it over and get that rub all over the underside. Okay, we are going to take this one. Make sure all these flavors soak in really nicely. And those can sit and stew for a little bit, and we're going to start preparing our smoke. Alright, so now we are going to prepare our smoke. So I've got some cherry wood and I've got some French oak. I've got more French oak than cherry wood. So we are going to just pretty much finish the cherry wood. I've also got just a normal used tin that we cleaned up and washed up and everything. So put a handful of our wood chips in there, or all of our wood chips in there. Fill it about halfway, and then with our French oak, we're gonna top up a little more. Okay, so this is more kind of sawdust than, we've got a dusty one and a chunky one. Okay, so once it's about that full, we are going to add some water and we're going to soak this little lot for about 30 minutes. Okay, making sure our water is covering all of our wood. In the meanwhile, we are turning the grill on and starting to heat it up. So I will explain that when we get out there. Alright, so here is our smoker. We're half an hour later. I have put this grill on high and this one on low so that we've got a temperature of, it's busy dropping down to about 120. So if we open it up, our meat is going to go on this side, and our wood chips, which I'm going to drain really quickly. Alright, so you can see our temperature has now dropped down to about 120. So what we're going to do is we are going to put our now drained wood chips over the hot side of the smoker, and we're going to leave it for about 10 minutes till it starts producing smoke. Alright, we are about 10 minutes later. She's not smoking quite as much as I wanted to, but I'm starting to run low on time. So we are now going to take our pork ribs and we are going to put them on the cold side. I don't know if you can hear, there is a little bit of a sizzle. Bone side down, and they are going to sit there. You can see there's a little bit of smoke coming out there. It will increase as we go along, and what we're now going to do is we're going to follow what we call the 3-2-1 rule. So they are going to sit there for 3 hours. Smoke, cook, and what have you. And then after 3 hours, I am going to put them back into their little pans, cover them up with some foil, and for 2 hours they're going to sit in that. And then for the last hour, they're going to be uncovered back on the grill. So there you go. Now the 3 hour wait starts. All right, so we are back. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do phase 2 of our cooking, and that is a wrapped in foil phase. So we are going to make a wet marinade. Okay, so in this bowl I have 3 tablespoons of melted butter, or almost melted. I am going to add 3 tablespoons of golden syrup. You could use honey if you want to. Okay, to that I am going to add 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Oops. A little bit of salt. And 3 teaspoons of sugar. Okay, we're going to give that a nice stir to create a beautiful saucy marinade. Okay, so we want a nice saucy tangy marinade. And then you can see I have my ribs here on this thing here. You can see they're starting to get nicely sort of smoked and cooked. And all I'm going to do is I am going to brush this marinade all over them. Okay, once we've got them nicely marinating, we are going to seal them up good and tight with some tin foil. And then just a third piece for good measure. Right, so this is going to go back onto our smoker for another 2 hours. Alright, so now we are going to make a glaze for our ribs once they have come off their 2 hour stint. So we basically going to double up what we have done previously. So we are going to add 6 tablespoons of butter. You can say it's about 2. Just a little bit more. Okay, so that's our butter. Then we are going to add 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 4 tablespoons of sugar, four tablespoons of golden syrup, okay, we are going to then pop this on. I'm going to add a little bit of paprika to this, and then we're going to pop it on the stove to boil down and thicken up a bit. Okay, here is my paprika, just as much as makes your heart happy. You could add a little bit of chili, garlic, any flavorings that you want. I tend not to use garlic. I find it goes a little bit bitter. But we're going to bring this up to a nice simmer and thicken it up. Okay, here we are boiling away. So I've turned the heat down quite a bit, and we are just going to cook it till it thickens up a bit. Okay, we've been going for about 5 minutes now. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of getting a bit more syrupy and a bit thicker. As I say, it will thicken significantly once it's cooled down. So I'm going to give it another minute or so, and I'll show you once it's cooled down nicely. And as soon as our pork ribs are done with their 2 hour long stint, then we can baste them and put them on for the final stretch. at which point it will probably be dark. Okay, it is time for the grand unveiling. This is what our sauce is looking like. And our ribs have just come off the smoker. So let's have a look at what they're looking like. They are definitely smelling delicious. So now what we're going to do, alright, so we have brought our pastry brush back, and now we are going to baste these ribs with this gorgeous syrup. And this is what they're looking like at the moment. So they are now going to go back onto the smoker, uncovered for an additional hour, but I'm going to steal a little piece. Yummy, yummy. Okay, I'm happy with it. And back out to our smoker we go for the final hour. Hi guys, and 6 hours later we are done. So let's cut one of them up. Turn it upside down. And have a look at what we have. Okay, that bit came off fair and square, so it's my treat. That's so yummy. Have a look. Nice and soft and smoky and sweet. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please stick around, hit that subscribe and the like button, and see what we get up to next.